Hi, this is your coach, Joe Lucas. Hey, happy Tuesday, August 15th. Hope you're off to a great start today and doing well. Let me ask you a question. What do you do when you get rejected? What do you do when you get a no? So when a prospect comes to you, I don't care if you're doing workshops, they're referred to you, a center of influence brought them in, you're doing internet marketing, Facebook ads, whatever, cold calling, right? If we're still up to that. And you sit down and you go through your meeting process, right? You know you can really help them. They know you really can help them, and yet you get to know why. What happened there? The biggest threat, if you will, the biggest obstacle we all face on influencing somebody to take action with us, right? Because it's in their best interest to do so. What causes a person not to make that happen? Fear. F-E-A-R. When you think about what stops somebody from saying yes to your recommendations, saying yes to a relationship with you, it's very rarely is it intellectually driven. It's emotionally driven first. So fear of change, fear of making a wrong decision, fear of the devil I know right now, my current situation, whether it's self-directed, right, or they're with a competitor, at least I know there's certainty there. It sucks, but there's certainty. And now, here are you. What do you represent to this person? Change. And so when you think about that, and this is why a lot of advisors, look, I've watched this, I've dealt with this for 25 years. When you've got somebody and there's no logical reason why they wouldn't say yes to you and then they still say no, or let me think about it, or they go dark, right? Put yourself in their position for a second. What's going on in their mind? First off, they're stressed, right? Because now they have to make a decision. They go from certainty to a level of uncertainty. And yes, it all sounds good. And that's like, and look, by the way, as a strategy, anytime you can make hiring you more certain. Now, how do we do that? That's why I love doing hybrid client events. Clients bring their prospects in. They get to meet with your client, references. The more certainty I can give a prospect, the easier it is. I got to help them get to the yes. And I can't make it, and I can't let it be just a logical exercise. Because if you leave it to logic, you're going to be disappointed. So I need to overcome that fear. And fear is not a logical emotion. It's irrational. And another pie chart, another update on the Money Guy Pro plan, even cutting your fees, usually is not going to overcome that. Because again, you're thinking rationally in an irrational scenario. The more certainty, the better. That's number one. Okay? Got to do that. Number two is, how do you process the no? Do you sit there and look, we're all human. When we get no, when we get rejected, which is really what we're talking about here, all of us have our triggers, right? Some people get depressed. Some people get angry. Some people, they just kind of, it's literally, and I've worked with people who they get a no, and they like have to rethink their whole concept of being in this business. And these people have been in business 10, 20 years, right? Because they have these patterns. So the first thing you have to understand is how to help your prospect get to a yes. More certainty, right? Understand the fear factor. And then for you, when you get the no's, or I'm going to think about it, the rejection, right? You gotta understand how you're going to treat that. And what I think is a great strategy is to decide in advance how to handle it and rehearse it. And this is not negative thinking. A lot of people say, oh man, I don't want to think about not succeeding. No. Hey man, this is a failure-based business. You're going to get no's. You're going to get, I don't want to think about it, right? You're going to have some of your own clients. When you make a recommendation to them, I'm not sure, right? Think about that for a second. So you better figure out in advance how you're going to handle it, all right? And to me, there's a lot of different ways. The way I choose to handle, the way I work with my clients on handling it is first off, it's not about you. It's about them, right? Because I think the first thing we want to do is say, hey, what did I do wrong? And I'm not saying when you debrief a situation, hindsight's always 20/20. Maybe we could have done something a little bit better. Maybe we missed a question. Maybe we didn't run a great meeting process, which I think a lot of you are guilty of that. But decide in advance. So number one, it's not about me. Number two is a no forever. is I got to think about it forever, right? And I'll give you a great example. I just had it happen to myself a couple weeks ago. I referred to a gentleman, already successful guy, and we had a couple calls. As I tend to do, I don't just drop people into my work. I want to make sure it makes a good fit. And literally, paperwork's out, and I get this little note back. Sorry to waste your time. I'm out, right? And it's like July. It's like 30 days ago, right? Now, what do? First off, in situations like that, I tend to let things sit for a while because I find that if you got to sell somebody and working with you, man, first off, it's going to be uncomfortable. Number two is you may not be a fan. I think you need to have some time to let people kind of just do their thing, right? So, and they get my newsletter, my videos, like I'm around, right? And I'm around. And I think, and by the way, this is why it's so important that you publish, that you do videos, that you do podcasting, that you do all these things, because you need to be in front. Because I'm telling you, someday that person's going to wake up and say, you know what, now's the time. And that's exactly what happened a week ago. I got this email out of the blue. Hey, I'm ready. Send me the paperwork back, right? Boom, we're in, right? Why? And he said so. My message a couple of weeks ago when I was on the beach, for those of you who've been following me, he's like, man, you're talking to me, and I need to hook up with you. So great. Right? Never give up. Unless they tell you to go jump somewhere or they talk bad about your mama, they're still viable to you. I don't care. Remember this one rule, and one of my mentors gave me this rule, I never forgot it. People are always reevaluating their situations and their options. Always. Whether it's consciously or subconsciously. So don't write them off. The reason why advisors write off prospects that say no to them is their ego. Like, oh, you hurt me, so now I'm going to go hurt you back. And how I'm going to hurt you back? I'm going to take you off my email list. I'm going to delete you out of my CRM, right? We get this emotional response to the rejection. It'll cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars in your career. Don't do it, okay? So a little food for thought today. Last challenge. Why don't you pick one? Why don't you pick a couple? Let's play big today. Why don't you pick maybe 3 or 5 no's you got in the last year or two? Just send me a little email. Maybe reach out to them on LinkedIn or Facebook, whatever is appropriate for you. And just say, hey, I was thinking about you. How are you doing? Let me know if I can ever help you. That's it. May get you nothing. Maybe somebody will raise their hand. You never know. Have a great Tuesday.